Good evening. Welcome to the Public Servant. My name is Rina Villamor Camara, and for this evening, we will be joined by the former representative in the 1st District of Sorsogon, former senator, and now the governor of Sorsogon. He started his career at a very young age, a recipient to many awards, such as the Youth Achiever in Government Award, Most Outstanding Congressman, and Outstanding Public Servant in the year 2000, among others. I'm sure you guys all know him. Let's all welcome to the show Governor Francis Chiz Escudero. Hi, Gov. Good evening.
Hi, Rina. Good evening to all of our televiewers. A pleasant evening as well. I hope everyone is keeping safe. Kamusta ka na?
I'm okay, Gov. Kayo po ang kamusta na? I'm sure you're busy lately, especially with the rising cases of COVID-19.
Yes, but here we've been able to maintain it at a manageable level. I think right now we're at 140. If you subtract the cases in the city, Sorsogon City in particular, we're only about at 60 in the province. I hope it maintains that way.
Okay, that's good to know, and I'm sure the viewers are ardent to know about the things that you're most busy of and the different projects you have for Sorsogon. But before we move on to tackling those things, let's get to know first who is Governor Chiz Escudero before entering politics. Let me begin by asking you this question. Can you please describe to us your younger years? I know that you grew up from a very influential family, starting from your great-grandfather. So how was it growing up with that kind of family?
Not really. My great-grandfather served as governor in the war years during World War II. He served from 1943 until 1952. So when I was born in 69, he was no longer the governor of the province. My father was the dean of the UP College of Veterinary Medicine, and my mother was teaching at the UP Home Economics Department at that time. It was not yet a college. I studied at UP, therefore, from kinder until law. When I finished my law studies, I entered a law firm and later on put up my own small law firm with some friends and took up my master's in law in 1996 up to about 1997. And then I went back to the Philippines and started teaching at the UP College of Law before running for my first elected position in 1998 as the representative of the 1st District of Sorsogon.
Okay, what were you like in school back then? Are you like the pabibo type? Are you like the shy type in school? Can you describe to us what type of schoolboy are you?
Mula grade 1 hanggang 3rd year high school, ako yung batang nakasquat sa lahat ng class picture kasi malupit ako.
Okay.
Na-discovery ko yung sikreto ng pagpapatangkad. 4th year college na yata. So in my 4th year class picture, nakatayo na ako sa likod because I deserved it already. When I was in 1st year high school, my height was 4'11". I was a lanky kid. I was a thin kid, weighing probably a little over 60 or 70 pounds. Lahat ng crush ko, hindi nila ako crush. Hindi ako kasama sa in group or in crowd. I was not athletic, so I was not part of the popular kids in high school or even in college. I was also the quiet type. Although my dad became minister at some point in time in my high school years and became secretary at some point in time in my college years, it didn't really change my life. Nag-jeep, nag-bus, naglalakad, ganun pa rin, hindi naman nagbago because my dad taught us that valuable lesson which we were able to appreciate after EDSA 1 happened. My dad, you have to understand, was Minister of Agriculture when Marcos left in 1986 when EDSA 1 happened. But since he didn't get used to the lifestyle, wala naman kaming bodyguard, wala kaming wangwang, wala kaming mga coaching mararaganon. So, nung nawala si Marcos, wala naman din nagbago sa buhay namin. In fact, sa kalagitnaan ng yellow fever at that time, I was the only one wearing a Marcos pa rin sticker on my shirt. Lahat ng mga anak ng ministro, direktor, o mga blue ladies na maka-Marcos noon, nag-leave of absence na sa UP. But in my case, I stood my ground and wala naman nang bubog sa akin ng mga panahon yun. In fact, isa yun sa pinakamatataas na grade na natanggap ko kasi parang naawa yata yung mga teacher ko sa akin na ako lang yung naiiba. But having said that, when I joined a fraternity in the College of Law, they forced me, literally, to join an open debate, which we ended up winning. And I guess that's where my, you can say, being secure in speaking began.
But
Because
before
before that, I
become
was the silent and quiet type.
okay, but before becoming a politician, Gov Cheese, what were your aspirations back then? Did you really dream of, pursuing politics right then and there when you were young?
When I was in grade one, my mom used to tell me that when I was asked in class what I wanted to become when I grow up, I said president. Di niya alam
Oh,
ng klase lang at ng PTA lang, hindi naman ng Pilipinas.
okay.
Um, but I've always been interested in politics, not only in running, but also with respect to how it works.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when my dad ran for the first time in 1984, ako yung tiga-dikit ng poster niya. I wanted to learn how it's done. Kaya kabisado ko kung paano mag-mix ng gawgaw para dumikit talaga yung poster sa pagkakabitan mo. Kabisado ko kung gaano kalayo yung mga kinakabitan at yung mga lugar na pwedeng kabitan, yung mga kurbada para makita agad.
Yes.
And later on, tinamad ako, naging bodegero ako ng tatay ko. So ako yung nagdi-distribute ng posters, making the most out of the supplies we had that was limited, and making it reach the day of the elections. By 1987, I took part and formed a youth group to support my father's re-election. So nilibot na naman namin ng buong probinsya, and I got to bond with the younger people who are now my age in Sorsogon, and basically get to visit each and every barangay in our district. By 1992, I was holding already the headquarters of my dad. So ako nagpapadala lahat, ako yung maharap sa mga tao, etc., etc. By 1995, I was already holding the last-minute operations of my dad and getting the ballot returns and the ballots and their election returns. And by 1998, I was finally a candidate. So I went through the entire election process simply because I was interested in it and ended up being a candidate finally in 1998.
Okay, so how young did you actually first serve the people?
I first ran at the age of 28.
Okay,
That's
and what
23 years ago.
okay, ano po yung best advice na binigay sa inyo ng dad nyo to keep on moving when you were starting in the politics po?
Not really to keep on moving. My dad didn't want me to run. He was against my running.
Okay, okay.
In fact, when I first ran, he did not come home and did not even deliver a single speech to endorse my candidacy, although I'm sure you voted for me. But it made the victory even sweeter. It made the accomplishment even better. Because we changed a lot of things with respect to the way they used to do it before I ran. So by the time my dad ran again in 2007, after I graduated from Congress, it was the same system that we were using already on how to campaign, and everything was more or less more scientific. And we ended up spending less and spending less time too, insofar as campaigning is concerned. His only advice that stuck with me was simple and plain. Huwag mong payagan baguhin ang pwesto mo, yung sarili mo, dahil hindi pang habang buhay ang pwestong yan. Pag nawala, baka magbago din yung buhay mo at hindi ka na makahinga. Ika nga nila, isa pang paraan ng pagsabi nun, huwag ka masyado magyabang dahil yung kasulubong mo habang paakyat ka, sila rin yung mga kasulubong mo habang pababa ka. That has always stuck with me, which is why I've remained doing what I am since before I entered politics, while I'm in politics, and hopefully even beyond and after I retire from politics.
Can you remember what were the challenges that you faced during, starting your career in politics po?
That was the most challenging Congress, actually, my first term in Congress, the 1998 to 2001 term. That's the only Congress that had 3 speakers in 3 years. That's the only Congress that tried to impeach a Supreme Court justice. The only Congress that tried to impeach a Comelec commissioner. And the only Congress that actually succeeded in impeaching a sitting president. And as I said, we had 3 speakers in 3 years. So it tested the mettle, it tested the principles, it tested the scruples. It tested the word of each and every congressman at that time. Kaya yung mga batang congressman ng mga panahon yun, actually tried and tested yung mga yun. Kilala mo na mula ulo hanggang paa, pati yung laman ng mga, pati yung loob ng mga buto-buto nila. And it was a good initiation for me, which made us all age and mature in politics quite fast. Unlike in previous congresses, usually peacetime yun eh. Wala namang away, wala namang gulo, wala namang mga impeachment. So they just go through the regular functions of being a congressman or senator. But those were really trying times, especially for politicians, especially given the public pressure, coming either from the church, the people, various groups. It tests loyalties. So I learned a lot from that. A lot of the first termers at that time learned a lot from that experience, and it
Mm-hmm.
has made us who and what we are now.
Mm-hmm. What? How do you define success right now compared to how you defined success before?
Um, it's always been the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
The main reason why I entered politics is to be remembered. Um, Not to do something good, not to help people, because you can do both even in the private sector. So the main reason why I entered politics is that I wanted to be remembered. To be remembered in a nice way, of course. Why is that? At the time when I entered, I didn't have kids yet. I wasn't married yet, so I didn't know if I
Mm-hmm.
would leave even people or human beings behind. I couldn't write a book and I couldn't write a book and leave a book behind. I couldn't act, I couldn't sing, I couldn't dance. So baka pag namatay ako, parang bula ka lang na nawala at wala nang
Mm-hmm.
makakaalala. So I entered politics because I knew I would be able to do a good job at this and hopefully be remembered for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I had kids, they have been the joy of my life, and I would be remembered by who and what they become. So hopefully that will be an addition. So my
Mm-hmm.
definition of success is to be remembered in a good way for having done something, for having tried to do the best that he could, given the opportunities given him to serve government. Parang
Okay.
parang lapida na ba yun? Pero hindi naman.
Parang may legacy ka na gustong iiwan, di ba? Parang ganon, Gov Cheese.
Sana maalala ka for that.
Yes, yes. What about your biggest fear right now in life?
My biggest fear is, of course, losing a loved one, especially given the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being able to see them anymore, not being able to say goodbye properly should that time happen, not being able to be with a person anymore. That is my biggest fear, especially when the pandemic started.
Any regret in life at this stage of your career?
Any regrets? If there are any, nothing comes to mind right now, Rina. So probably wala.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
All of the mistakes I committed, whether in love, especially in love, and in politics,
We'll talk about
would
love
form part
later on.
would form part of who and what I am. Otherwise, I won't be this person unless I went through those painful and difficult times in my life. Again, whether it's in relation to love, money, or politics.
Mm-hmm. What makes you angry? Mabilis po bang magalit si Governor Chiz Escudero?
Kapalpakan.
Okay.
Basically, ineptitude, failure or ability to follow simple instructions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm short with respect to that simply because time is of the essence. And people actually look up to us to do a good job for them. We're all being paid to serve the people and to do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't deserve that kind of service being given to them. So that basically lights my fuse on any given day. On any given
Okay.
day. But only with my people mostly,
Mm-hmm,
simply
mm-hmm.
because I expect a higher level of service from them.
Okay. What makes you relax? Especially this time of pandemic, no? I know that may mga busy days talaga kayo, pero paano po yun? How do you relax with your family or by yourself?
Um, I go to the shooting range if I have
Mm-hmm,
time.
mm-hmm.
It makes me relax. Kasi iisipin mo lahat ng kinakaasaran mo na yung mukha niya ay nasa target paper. So it makes you breathe and relax and medyo makarelease-release ka ng konti. Of late, walking and exercising has been my relaxation. It's a contradiction in terms kasi pag nag-exercise ka, di ba masakit sa katawan?
Mm-mm,
But it's a
mm-mm.
mode of relaxation because it's something that's well within your control. Unlike life in general, that you cannot really control it. Exercising, walking, it's well within your control. You decide how many steps, you decide how many reps, you decide how many sets, and it all will have a predictable outcome. Unlike
Mm-hmm,
life,
mm-hmm.
unlike the daily grind of life, hindi mo alam kahit pareho yung ginagawa mo day in and day out, baka mag-iba yung outcome sa ibang araw, pareho yung outcome sa ibang araw. And spending time, of course, with my family. My kids are here in Sorsogon with me dahil online naman yung klase nila.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
they're here in Sorsogon with me and it's safer for them as well. I can't say the same for Heart given that her job brings her everywhere. In fact, she just arrived yesterday from the States because of work. So she's in quarantine right now.
Okay. Can you tell us something that people don't know about you? Say 3 things that people don't know about you.
Pag sinabi ko na, edi alam na nila, hindi na mahihirapan na naman ako mag-isip. One is quite obvious, but probably they don't realize it. I'm a very casual person. In fact, dahil work from home kami sa probinsya, hindi dahil sa COVID, dahil na-renovate yung Kapitolyo namin, araw-araw na outfit ko bilang gobernador sa probinsya, and it's so relaxing, would be shorts and slippers. And exactly what I'm wearing right now. Pero pag nagbukas yung Kapitolyo, obligado na ako mag-uniforme. I'm a very casual person, not only with respect to what I wear, but also with respect to dealing with people. I never want to deal with formalities. I always want to be underdressed in any occasion rather than being overdressed. At least naiiba ka. And I don't let my wife interfere with my fashion sense even if I don't have any, because I don't interfere with hers. Let me see, what else?
One last.
Of late, I have been focusing on longevity. Probably the pandemic woke me up too. So I've been doing IF for the past, LCIF for the past 9 weeks.
Wow.
Low carb intermittent fasting for the past 9 weeks. 10th week ko sa Sunday. And it has been a good feeling all throughout. And I lost 10 pounds.
Wow.
Ika nga, ang tawag namin dyan, ang biro namin mga magkakaibigan dyan, ang tawag ko dyan, Balik Alindog Program.
Si Sir Chiz, meron din Balik Alindog program niya. Version niya.
Para yung trabaho ko lang dito, habang naka-lockdown, habang tigil ang buhay, habang hindi normal ang buhay, habang hindi tayo nakikita-kita, let's make the most out of this time to make a better version of ourselves. We're making the most out of our time to make Sorsogon a better version of itself once the world reopens. The same is true with us, I guess. Para pag nakita kayo, ikaw ba yan? Anyari? Diba?